Side back to. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. The title of our conversation today is on Insights into Employee Psychology, a focus on employee total well-being. Insights into employee psychology, a focus on employee total well-being. The person who will be facilitating this webinar is Irene Obagu. She is one of the core team members of HR Mentorship, and she was also our first facilitator for this year. By popular demand and by choice, she's back for a second term. And just because of a few people who, for one reason or the other, may not know her, or who may just be coming across our excellency for the first time, I will try to say a few things around her. Irene Obagu is an human resource enthusiast, talent builder, people and culture advocate, and she is a tech recruiter. At the moment, she's the human resources and administrative manager with Cloudflex Computing Services Limited. Prior to now, she worked with Novelty Multi-Services as human resource consultant. She was also with the Corporate Services and Administration Department of Capital Trust Group, an organization where she spent 6 years, 10 months. All right. She has a master's in personnel psychology from the first and the best University of Ibadan, where she also obtained a Bachelor's of Education in Guidance and Counseling. All right. I need us to know that by way of educational background and by way of practical experience, there's no better person to handle this course. Irene Obagu, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. This hyping, thank you, sir. Okay, good evening, everyone. As the topic has been introduced to us, we're trying to understand employee psychology. And in the process of understanding employee psychology, it will also help us to focus on building a workplace that works by focusing on total well-being. So without wasting much time, we're going to jump into the training. But before I proceed, I like to always do a disclaimer. I am a shameless learner. So I am only here to facilitate. We're all here to learn, unlearn and relearn. So as much as possible, we'll have to make this class interactive. Your contributions or suggestions, what you think we should do better going forward. And we are continuously striving to be better in our profession. So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to have you spend your evening with me. So it's more like I'm on a date right now. Thank you. Okay, so apologies. So I'm going to just introduce the topic to us and why it is necessary. Prior to the pandemic, we were talking about the future of work. But before we knew it, the pandemic brought the now of work to us. And in that short period, the way we work has changed. Everybody, what we used to do, our 8 to 5, 9 to 5, as case may be, automatically changed. The traditional 40 hours a week automatically changed. We happen to be more of, it's more like we're constantly working because technology has brought this to us. We practically indirectly work 24/7 business day now. Recently, researchers have shown that with the work from home, even though we're happy to work from home, it's beginning to impact people because we see ourselves working even after closing. So Gallup did a research recently. Gallup is popular for doing researches with workplaces. And they did report that white collar workers work on average 49 hours a week, with 25% of them working longer hours. And about about 25% working like 60 hours more. So it's beginning to, it's now is the time for us to look into employee well-being. So before we look into employee well-being, we also need to understand what employee psychology is. So I'm going to take us to what we intend to get today. So today, what we're trying to look at is we're trying to look at what mental health is. We're trying to understand what mental health and mental well-being is. And why is it important for us to look at it? Why should we look at well-being at work? And as much as possible this evening for us to learn, relearn, and unlearn how to create a positive work environment and some practical things that we can do to help us create a healthy workforce. So to get us started, I'd like my class to be interactive. So we're going to do small exercise now and just break some ice so that we can get in the mood of interaction. A lot has been happening in Nigeria lately and across the world. So I'm going to be asking in one word. I'll be looking at the chat session. Could you just put in the chat session so that I know that we're all together and everybody is with me here? So could you just put in the chat section in one word how your past week was? For me, my past week was intense. So I have some word crowd here. If the way your past week was is not in my word crowd, feel free to put your own word. So I'll be looking at the chat session. Quickly, we'll do this in 5 minutes. Can we know how was your last week? What was it like for you? Thank you. Okay. My Oga said hectic. Ruth Eze said overwhelming. I tell you, like recently. Anna Egbe said wonderful. Someone said, wow, tough. Yeah, tough. I can relate. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. Edward said crazy. I don't know who Fire Tablets is. I'm sure that's not your name. Interesting. I like that. Honestly, a lot of interesting things have been happening, really. A lot of interesting things have been happening. Eventful, Elizabeth Akinton. I hope I got that pronunciation. I tried to get stressful. I get you. If you say stressful, everybody is correct in our own way. Can we have it coming? Okay, so while we are trying to leave what last week was, yes, last week has come, it has gone. We're recapping what it was. Abidemi said it was overwhelming, but there's a way we feel today, like as we're here right now. So that takes us to our second icebreaker. Just in the chat session, can we just see the emojis that describe your current state of mind at the moment? Mine, I think I'm trying to find that emoji now. It's almost like there's no emoji for, should I say anxious? Am I? I'm happy and I'm anxious. Happy because I'm doing what I like to do best. I'm always very excited when it's something to do with psychology. Anxious because I'm having to pray that my baby will not come and sit on my laptop. Oh, wow, and I be happy. Wow. Somebody is surprised. Ruth says, hopeful. That's for your last week, I guess. Yeah, someone is smiling. Someone is tired. David, don't worry. I get it. Okay, so while we seem, I can get that we're together because the response is quite impressive. I can see that we are together. So we're just going to move ahead so that we can all have a restful evening and, yes. Okay, so that takes me to my next slide. Z, oh, I'm trying to understand. Oh, Fire Tablet, that's Z, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going to go right on to our training today. My network is freezing, sorry. Okay, so what is employee psychology? Psychology is the study of human behavior, why we behave the way we behave. So employee psychology is a study of why employees behave the way they behave while at work. It helps us to classify employee behavior into predictable patterns by studying how they behave. Okay, you get to know that, okay, this person behaves this way. So basically, it's a study of people's behavior at work so that you can address them effectively. You can be able, if you understand employee psychology, each individual psychology, you are able to place them well, you're able to manage them well, you're able to understand the person's personality. So you get to understand why the person behaves. If we understand employee psychology, really, we'll not get to misunderstand people. We'll get to understand that this is who this person is, and it helps us to manage people's temperament. Understanding employee psychology is extremely beneficial to organization because it provides insight into organization's greatest assets. You agree with me that the organization's greatest assets is its people. Like I always say, business strategy exists. Yes, you have this business strategy, you have this business objective, but it's only going to remain a strategy or an objective if we don't have people to execute them. So the people aspect of every organization is important. So that's why we need to understand employee psychology so that it can help us to hack the behavior of our employees and help us to create a more engaging workforce. So I have two scenarios. In scenario one, imagine there's an organization that is typified with greed, selfishness, manipulation, secrecy, and a single-minded focus on winning, where wealth creation is the only key indicator for success. It is only when you make money. It is only when the organization, it's only financial health the organization pays attention to. It doesn't matter how the people bring in the money. Just imagine that kind of organization. Imagine that members of such organizations are characterized with distrust, anxiety, absorption, fear, burnout, and feeling of abuse, retribution, disrespect. I've surprised many interaction and social relationship in this kind of organization. So I'm just picture an organization where the only time success is recorded is when people bring in money. If you don't bring in money, the lambasting and the kind of, that kind of organization, just let's picture it. We're going to compare. Then I have a second organization where, like I said, we're going to compare for the sake of contrast. Now let us imagine an organization that is certified by appreciation, collaboration, virtuousness, vitality, and meaningfulness. Where you create abundance of human well-being. That is a key indicator to success. When their people are happy, is a key indicator to success. So imagine that you're a member of such organization. How would you feel? Of course, there'll be trustworthiness, resilience, wisdom. Like you wake up in the morning and you're happy to go to work. Really. So back in the chat session, like I said, I like us to interact. Which of the organization in scenario 1 or scenario 2 would you prefer? I'm looking at the chat session. If you were going to work in an organization and you have scenario 1, Beatrice says scenario 2. Honestly, trust me, scenario 2 for me all the way. Scenario 2, yeah, as expected. Of course, Samuel, Bumi, Z, Vivian, yes, everybody says scenario 2, which of course is what anybody will pray for because, hey, I don't want to wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh God, I'm going there again. Yes, work is important. We need to work because we need to make money. And because it's not just making money, everything you need. If you're a family person, you need to make money to take care of your family. If you just basically, work is something that makes us relevant. It's like something that is important for us. So if I wake up in the morning, I should be able to wake up happy, dress up, and hit the ground running and go to the office. And I'm happy that, hey, nobody's going to bring me now. Nobody's going to dehumanize me, because sometimes some organizations just feel like you're not human beings the way it is structured. And employers are beginning to realize that it's time to pay attention to this. It is time for us to know that, okay, yes, we need to make money. The business exists to make money. But while we're solving problems, we should also not create problems for our people, because like I always believe, every organization exists to solve a problem. Yes, we are set up to make profits, but we're solving a problem by rendering service or product to people. So if in the process of our solving other people's problem, we should not make the people that solve that problem to now have problems. So basically, scenario 2 is an ideal workplace that everybody looks forward to. So how do we achieve scenario 2? That's what we want to look at today. How do we get to creating scenario 2? I would like somebody to just tell me what you understand by well-being in the chat session. I want to be sure that we're all learning. Like I said, I'm only here to facilitate and just show the slides and say the one I know. Everybody, we're all here to learn together. So what do we understand by workplace well-being? So if you were going to describe workplace well-being, what would you say it is? I'm looking at the chat section. I want to believe that it's not only me that is here that understands well-being. I actually want to learn what the meaning of well-being is from us. Vivian says a healthy balance of work and personal life. I like that. It's only when you are well that you can go to work. And if you don't go to work, what you need to be well, you will not get. So it has to balance. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm looking for more comments. Okay. Olabi says an environment where sorry, my chats are skipping. A comfortable, healthy environment that brings about productivity. And that says a place where joy is seen, collaboration, interaction, and effective work-life balance. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So, sorry, my slides seem to be hanging. I think my network is hanging. So I'm trying to move to the next slide. Uh-oh. Okay, so we'll agree that a healthy workplace is very important. We'll agree that for our people to be productive, we have to create an enabling environment for them. Okay, I might just have to continue without my slide. My slide is refusing to move. Apologies. Okay, so we want to look at workplace well-being. So the slide after scenario 2. So workplace well-being, the what, the why, and the how. So what is workplace well-being? That's why I wanted to get us to tell me what workplace well-being is, because that was going to be my next slide. I needed to be sure that, yeah, it was not only me that knew it. The next slide, sir. Oh, the next one. So what is workplace well-being? Like we have already said, the International Labour Organization, ILO, define workplace well-being as all aspects of working life, from the quality and safety of the physical environment to how workers feel about their work, their working environment, the climate at work, and work organization. So it's basically what we've said. If all these things are in place, you'll be happy to go to work. If all these things are in place, we're going to have respectful workplace, a productive workplace. Because if you go to your work and the place is safe and the environment is conducive, you feel your work is good, you work in a very good environment, and the climate at work and your organization is a climate that encourages well-being, why not? You would have achieved workplace well-being. So workplace well-being is basically all aspects of working life. And we cannot remove the aspect of working life from our personal life. Studies have shown that if you're having issues with personal life, you're going to move it into the workplace. So when the workplace creates a conducive environment, it also enhances our well-being, our overall mental health and well-being. The next slide, please. The next slide. Okay, so why well-being? Why workplace well-being? Workplace well-being because it is important that we create a conducive place for people to work. So why is it important? It is important because it also aids business productivity. It will aid how we deliver on our jobs. It will aid everything that is important to us as a person. And the business is going to be the one to even enjoy for creating the conducive environment in the first place. Employees psychology has opened our eyes to know that the way people behave has to be moderated. We have to make people behave in a way that they like, in a way that they will enjoy what they do, in a way that it's easy to demand results from them. So when you create an environment where people enjoy what they do, you are giving them a conducive place to work, we're able to deliver more on our job. An average adult spends a great deal of his or her life at work. So it is important that we pay attention to where they come to. We basically wake up in the morning and go to work. I don't know, can you hear me? I'd like to know if you can hear me, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, continue.
Okay. So if we spend all our days, like all the time of the day at work, we leave there from the morning, we'll come back in the evening. So the few time we have is basically back at home. So we spend all our days, an average adult spend most of the day at work. So it is important that we have a unique opportunity that will help us to be better, because the truth of the matter is the workplace interferes with our well-being. It is important to focus on mitigating and preventing physical or psychological well-being. Workplace well-being also overlaps with personal well-being, like I've said, because of course, we can't maintain good well-being at work, and at home we maintain another kind of well-being. It's not possible. We will not function. So the well-being has to be all round. We have to be healthy all round. Our mental health is very, very important. So how do we create a well-being at work? The approaches to creating well-being and wellness includes a conventional employee assistance program, EAPs. So what are our EAPs? The perks that are included in our total reward package, the HMOs, the benefits and all that. How we create the extras apart from the salaries that these people earn is basically how we create a well-being, a workplace that works, how we create employee well-being. EAPs are a set of company policies and procedures for identifying and responding to personal emotional problems of the employee, which interferes directly or indirectly with job performance. So basically, our policies and our procedures is the how of creating well-being at work. We have to be mindful of the policies we implement, the procedures we create. It has to enhance our people. Our policies and procedures has to enhance the people part of our business. If not, the people are going to get burned out, and before you know it, even though we're in the jackpot era, there are some organizations that because they have created a conducive workplace, their attrition rate is very low. The only thing that they might take people out will not now be the culture at the organization. It will be other factors, external, that the organization cannot control. So does well-being really matter at work? So that takes me to my next slide. We now know that, okay, it is important that we create well-being at work. How do we create well-being? Yeah, by our policies, our procedures, our EAPs and all that. So does it really matter? Why yeah, we know that we should create it, but does workplace well-being matter? Why does employee well-being matter? It matters because while it may feel like things are back to normal post-pandemic, studies have shown that people have not fully recovered, trust me. Yes, we have come out of the pandemic, but post-pandemic, people still have the effect that the pandemic had on them. A lot of people are just recovering, a lot of people are just coming, but people have not fully recovered. Researchers have shown this. I'm referring to Gallup's data again. Gallup's data again suggests that the emotional side of work has not healed. Under the surface, people are stressed and anxious, which is true. The stress of, oh, how do I continue? The stress of coming back from work, okay, the stress of returning back to normal. People are having to deal with that because people have gotten used to certain work condition that we did not know we could cope with. We now discover that we cope with it, and employers are now saying, come back to normal. So people are stressed and anxious. 4 out of 10 employees say they have experienced worry during a lot of the day yesterday. So if today now, that was one of the things that encouraged my icebreaker. Yeah, we had worries last week. If today I asked somebody how was your yesterday, there were things that worried the person. So 10 out of employees say they experience worry a lot of the day. Although these emotions don't normally show up on the spreadsheets, yes, we're at work and we're doing all our work. It will not show in our spreadsheet, it will not show in our result, our reports. It will not show on our screen at work because, hey, we still have to work regardless. They remain organizational risk if leaders aren't paying attention to their employee well-being. They are likely to be blindsided by top performance burnout and high quit rates. Yes, people are delivering on their job. They are doing their job because work is very important, because they are being paid to do the job and they know that they need to earn a living. So people will deliver, but forget that they are delivering. If attention is not paid to workplace well-being, the high performance will soon have burnout. And before you know it, even though they are delivering, they are beginning to look for a better culture. They're beginning to look for a better environment that pays attention to their well-being. So the quit rate will be high. If that is why it really matters for us to pay attention to employee well-being. So that takes us again to, okay, we're trying to see how to create employee well-being. Like I said, we're going to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Some of us will get more ideas. Some of us will learn what we need to do. So there are 5 pillars from the psychological point of view. From positive psychology point of view, there are 5 pillars of employee well-being in the workplace. And they are, the acronym for this is PAMA. P is positive emotions, E engagement, R relationship, M meaning, and A accomplishment. So what does PAMA say? PAMA is the 5 pillar of employee well-being at workplace. So how do we implement PAMA? What is the procedure? What does PAMA say? So for positive emotions is creating an environment that makes people happy to do what they are doing. Positive emotions are important factor in our health, according to Khan. Our emotions range from positive to negative, from high to low. Employees who experience positive emotions tend to be more productive, better problem solvers, and better teamwork. Because when I'm happy, I will use the word, my brain will boot faster. When I am happy, I'm not stressed out. I'm happy to come to work. I'm happy with what I do. Of course, I'm going to want to make the place better. I'm going to spot problem quickly and be a problem solver because I am happy with my workplace. I don't want anything to alter that happiness. I don't want anything to alter my positive emotion. A person who is emotionally, when a person is emotionally declining, they may also be neglecting their bodies, resulting in poor health and reduced productivity. Because somebody that does not have positive emotion, yeah, you push yourself to come to work, you do the work grudgingly, because after all, you have to work, you need to earn money, and you need to earn a living, you have bills to pay, you have dependents, you have a lot of things to sort. Yeah, you push yourself to come to work. But the truth of the matter is, over time, the person begins to decline, and it begins to affect the person's health. Sometimes the well-being or mental health does not show immediately. It accumulates and goes to, that's what leads to depression. So when somebody does not have the vibes, the positive vibes from work, it begins to affect their health. And of course, you now see a lot of sick leave applicants. You begin to see people taking permission left, right, and center. And of course, that affects productivity. So that's for positive emotion. Then that also takes us to engagement. Engagement refers to acceptance and interest in one's work. When employees are highly engaged, they may enter a state of peak productivity called flow. Now, the peak productivity helps people to just flow and do what they're expected to do. So if I'm engaged, I'm happy to do what I am doing, then I'll be happy to just do what I am expected to do and deliver on what I'm expected to do. And that helps me to grow. It gives me a sense of belonging. It helps me to align with the organization's objective and my own objective. And at the end of the day, that leads to engagement. So when we create an enabling environment in the workplace, we give room for employees to thrive. So when the workplace is enabling and the workplace, we have tried to create an environment where people can do what they are happy doing, then their career is progressing. And before you wait, they are happy to be with us and they thrive. So engagement is very important aspect of well-being. We have to pay attention to people's emotions. We have to pay attention to how engaged our people aspect of the organization is. Are they happy doing what they're doing? Are we seeing the vibe? Are we seeing the energy to deliver? So that is very important in employee well-being. So that takes us to relationship. Of course, a happy person will be happy to relate with others. Relationship coach, relationship according to Khan, is a feeling of being connected and supported and valued by others within an organization. Good relationship between employees in the workplace makes it possible to build a healthy support system that helps during stressful and difficult times. I once worked in an organization where even when you are down with fever, you want to go to work because you're missing your colleagues and we were like a family. You be down, I once was down with fever, I was shivering. They were like, Irene, go home. I'm like, no, no, no. If I go, who will be with me after? Because we're always jiving, even though we're working. It was more like a family. So when we create an environment where employees value themselves, we create a work relationship that is healthy. It's not an environment where there's like the first scenario we looked at, where there's competition, unhealthy competition, because I want to be the one to bring the money. I don't want to receive the backlash from management. I don't want to be talked down on at a management meeting. So I am always wanting to outsmart or outdo my colleague. The relationship there will not, it will be toxic, because every employee will be suspecting themselves. I'm suspecting this person that this person is after my progress. I'm suspecting this person that it can go and be a stumbling block for me. Let me quickly clear him off the way. So when we encourage healthy relationship at work, we're also helping our employees' well-being. Conducting team building is one of our best tools for fostering a healthy relationship within workforce. So it's time we think of team building activities while we encourage our people to collaborate and do all that. Collaboration is the new point, by the way. To deliver and to succeed now, we must collaborate. That's just the truth. No one is an island. So that takes us to the next part of PAMA, which is meaning. When we talk about meaning, it is all about having a sense of purpose in work. What does the work I am going to, does it even make any meaning? What do I want to achieve? Am I just working for the sake of, oh, let me just go to work? Or I am happy to do what I am doing? As a people manager, it is important that we help our people to feel that what they are doing matters. Yes, we've cascaded our business objective to individual. We have given everybody what you're expected to do. We should let that make meaning to every employee. That the little you are doing, you are in finance department, you are in sales department, in whatever department you are doing, your job role, the part of the overall business objective that you are contributing to matters. We have to let our people, encourage them to know that every little thing, every of their effort makes a meaning to the overall objective. At the end of the day, we are all driving to achieve one goal. So when people feel a sense of purpose, when they have this sense of contribution, that, oh, my contribution matters no matter how little, it begins to make meaning to them to come to work. They are happy to be at work. When they feel that their work is making a difference, they'll be more satisfied with their work and feel more driven to perform better and be able to make a meaning of their time at work. So that's what meaning refers to in the PAMA model. So accomplishment, we have started from positive emotion to engagement to relationship to meaning. By the time we are able to achieve all this, then the person will feel accomplished. So when achievements have a greater impact when acknowledged, upper management, we that are in management, it is important that we pay attention, even if it's just a small pat on the back. It's very important to show this person that this person has achieved something. Not that people will feel that, what am I even doing? Well, let me just do my own and just close for the day. But when they feel accomplished, when they feel that they are delivering on something, it is very important. Yeah, we do our typical annual gala nights or retreats, but there's no need for us to wait to the end of the year, really. There are little things we could do. Something as simple as kudos on a wall. Like, there are employee recognition programs that we don't have to wait to the end of the year. Not the recognition program that we used to probably spike those that are not productive, because you can see, like in our first scenario organization, those ones can just use a word to spike others that this is the person that brought the biggest money. No, just a way of celebrating our staffs within the organization. We don't have to wait to the end of the year event where we do our team bonding. It is important that we encourage team bonding because we can boost our people's ego. So the person that you have put the name on the kudos wall will be happy and feel that, yes, I'm doing something. Celebrating little win is a boost of productivity. It could be something as simple as just slipping a thank you note on an employee's desk, you know. It's very important that management get to understand this thing so that employees can feel accomplished. Then they are happy to be part of a bigger picture. So from our PAMA model, the key takeaway is that the model teaches us that well-being, even though complex and layered, we can achieve it if we do pay attention to these 5 pillars. These 5 pillars are like building blocks. They're like a compass, they're like a guide to help us achieve our well-being at workplace. So the PAMA model teaches us that well-being is complex and layered, and we must we must enrich each of the areas in order to feel balanced and well-rounded. We cannot say we'll create positive emotion and we will not encourage our employees to have good relationship at work. Yes, as long as I make you happy, I don't care if you are in good relationship with your employee. No. But even while we create positivity at work, where we make the workplace enjoyable, and we eventually get the engagement we want, engagement will drive productivity. No doubt. Do we stop at productivity? So what PAMA is teaching us is every aspect of the model is important that we pay attention to it if we must have a well-rounded workforce. If we must create that environment that we're talking about for people to thrive, we must pay attention to every of the pillars. Yes, the employee is engaged. If the employee is engaged and we're achieving results, do we now stop at our employee being engaged? No. We have to also create an environment that encourages healthy relationship. Then we also have to pay attention to how they feel at work. Is work making any meaning to them? This is where coaching and mentoring comes in. As HR people, we see ourselves, whether we want to agree or not, directly or indirectly coaching people. So when we do our appraisals, it's basically not for us to punish the person, no. It's for us to see that, okay, this person needs we identify areas where the person needs to develop and the area where the person needs to improve. So that way we're helping the person to make a meaning of the work. By the time we give the person feedback, and of course, remember we have created a happy workplace. The emotions are positive. So they know that your feedback is not out of bitterness or out of spite, and they know that, oh, my workplace is enjoyable. I love to be here. So they take your feedback and they better themselves. And that way they begin, what they do begin to make a meaning to them. So that's basically what we have. I'd like to take contributions, additions. How do we think we can create a better workplace well-being? Is there anything that we would like to teach ourselves? Anybody willing to do addition and contribution? Because this is the end of my slide. Go. Can everyone hear me? Please, can you unmute and let me know that you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm done with my slide. I'd like to take contributions, addition, what I need to learn and unlearn. What does anybody have to add to it?
Demola, you can ask your questions or make your contributions.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Larry. My question is that now, let's say all this about what employers can do to help create a very well-being habit. How can employees themselves on their own, even when the organization is not giving them the chance to create that environment? How can employees create another environment themselves That even though outside the organization is not giving them the chance to do what they want, like they would create another place themselves. Despite all what the organization is doing and outside of what they should do. That just what can they very do? Like create an environment for themselves. I just need to probably just mention about what to
Okay. You sounded far from your device. So if I can hear you correctly, you are saying even in a situation where the workplace does not encourage these things, the workplace, let me not use the word toxic, the workplace has not given you an enabling environment to thrive.
Yeah.
If
Yes,
I get
ma'am,
you correctly, is that what you're saying?
Yes, not me, but I'm just creating a scenario around it.
Okay, so now while we're talking about workplace well-being at work, is for us that are in management, for us that are in HR, for us that have the opportunity to influence our work culture, to begin to look at these things and create that enabling environment. That is on the one side. Now, in a situation where the environment has not given you that platform, the environment has not created a well-being environment for you, you also have, like I always tell people, control what you can control. You cannot control your workplace. If you can continue to come to work, create what you can create for yourself and control what you can control. For example, you know that if you go to work, okay, let me use lateness for example. You know that if you go to work, you'll be late, and maybe your workplace is hard on lateness. And it's not your fault, looking at the current situation of things. So what you basically do is you have to control your emotions. Try as much as possible to beat whatever will make you late. We know there are situations, because I have been in that situation, where it is beyond your control, especially in this current cash crunch. So what you basically do is you have to control your emotions. You cannot control your office, but you can control how you feel. Most of how we feel is a reaction to what, how do I put it? We are in charge of our reaction. So you can decide to create positivity for yourself and not let whatever is happening around you weigh you down. Even though we know that is difficult, but you will have to constantly encourage yourself. You have to constantly create that positive environment for yourself. And where you think you can no longer take it, then you can begin to plan what to do. Either if you know you can take what's going on, fine, but if you know you cannot take it, that is why in my presentation I said, if you do not pay attention to well-being, you are going to see people looking for the next place to go. So an organization that has not created an enabling environment, it's just a matter of time. Once the people find a better place, they will go. So why we are pushing or why we're advocating for employee well-being is that we have to encourage retention. Basically, it's a business strategy. It is important for us. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question, or if I've been able to answer your scenario.
Okay, let's take Anna, please. Anna, you can make your contributions now, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Irene, that was very insightful, but I really enjoyed the session. So Yemi, nice to hear from you again today. Okay, so my little contribution is that I'm creating an enabling workplace. I believe we can also have, like as a leader, we can also have a kind of a way of doing things, change scenarios and doing things. Maybe in time while on the job, just as you had mentioned, that we can a thumbs up as well. I take, for instance, I have a group that I manage, a fellowship that I manage. And this year, I said I've created a lot of innovation, bringing new ideas on what to do. So this year, I decided to, okay, in one of the sessions, we're not going to sit down and do the normal thing that we've been doing. So we just had to create another scenario that will come in and share ideas, like knowledge sharing, teach everybody, okay, I love cook and this other one love to do this. So we have a roster, okay, you come and teach everybody how to do this thing. You come and teach them. So it's also kind of create another opportunity for people to sit down and interact and discuss, and not just doing the particular thing. So right while on the job, we know that, okay, we can still have a small opportunity to just sit down and interact. That will also create another enabling environment for you to get to know this other person, not just on the job, at least get to know what the person likes and what the person does not. And they will also share ideas, okay, oh, what is going on right now in the country? And then we laugh over it. And that also, I believe, will also reduce tension and make everybody happy while on the job. And then another aspect is the effective communication, because when you don't have a good communication, it's going to cause a lot of chaos in the organization. And so as a leader, we should be able to communicate effectively, and our yes should be yes and our no should be no. So when you're making favoritism should also not be a thing in the workplace, because when there's favoritism, oh, you like this one more than this other one, so appreciation should go all around. And then the communication should be key, transparency and honesty. When you give your word, you should be able to stand by your word, because as a leader, whereby you are not able to stand, when you say this thing today and tomorrow you say a different thing, that means you cannot be trusted as a leader. That's my little contribution. Hello.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Let's take Ezine.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. Thanks, Irene, for this interesting session. I think I'll piggyback on what Helen said, some of what she said. I think it also talks to, as much as, the management wants to create, a better space, workspace for its employees. I think it also needs to carry them along as stakeholders. So I speak to the point about, asking people what their own idea is, especially when it comes to things like recognition, what we might think would be good or what we might think might resonate with them might not necessarily be what, they would see as something that would make them feel recognized or make them feel happy at work. So it speaks to maybe us doing surveys. I mean, I speak from experience. We've carried out surveys, right? And it's not just doing surveys, because I know we're very big on doing surveys and then we just tick off the box and that's the end. No, when doing surveys, analyzing the results, unpacking the results with everyone, letting everyone see, the results of what they have, put forward, and then putting together a plan based on the results, right? And then tracking those, tracking that plan, to carry everyone along, creating an environment of transparency, holding yourself accountable, so that, I remember somewhere I worked, that's what we would do, and I was the, what's the word now, I was the gatekeeper. I would make sure that all teams, did that. And then, on a quarterly basis, there was a tracking, a monitoring session where everyone would say, okay, fine, this is where we're rating ourselves based on, the milestones we have set. And okay, how do you feel? Do you think we've made progress or not? We ask those hard questions so that we know that we're on track. So that's transparency, that keeping, including the employee as a stakeholder would even make that person feel like, feel happier to be at work, to know that, okay, I have a hand in this. It's not just coming to work and, earning a salary and doing this to, add to the bottom line of the company, but the company values me and sees me as a part of this. So yeah, that's my contribution. Carry everyone along, make them feel part of the whole process, have them contribute, let their voices be heard, and let them see that what it is. You may not necessarily take into consideration everything, not everything may be workable, but at least let them see that you've heard them and you're implementing that thing that you can implement, to make them feel valued.
Thank you so much for that beautiful contribution. Oluchi.
Good evening,
Oluchi, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Irene, thanks for the beautiful session.
Thank you.
Mine is contribution. I didn't hear the male colleague, his line was a bit not clear from my end. I don't know if it's my network, but I understand from the little I heard, he's talking about well-being for him. I think one of the things I'll speak from my own experience that helped me a little bit in certain situation was to have a support system, not necessarily family members now, support system outside the work environment. I have a friend that once my head is full, I can go to her. She allows me be free, even if she's undergoing some challenges, but she allows me, she just listens to me, say how I feel, what I'm going through. She pays attention. Then when I'm done talking, no matter how long it takes me to talk, she would not say, okay, this is it. From what you said, this is what I hear you say, and all that and all that. You've tried this, can we do this? Can we do this? So I think maybe you can look for support system outside maybe your organization, maybe senior colleague, maybe in church, in mosque, in your social club, that can allow you be free and you can speak, share your challenges with them. They can allow you, sometimes talking even helps us get a better perspective and gives us some peace. Just somebody listening to us and understanding us. Maybe you should look at having support system outside your work environment that can help you find that peace, because sometimes maybe everybody around the office is also undergoing the same thing. When you all sit together, your friends, quote and unquote, within the office, is all of you lamenting to each other. Nobody is looking at it from outside to offer a solution. You all sit together, lament together, and complain together, and everybody goes at no solution to the problem. So it might help to look outside maybe your workspace to have that support system. It might help, it might help, maybe if you try. Then somebody asked the question, says she's having a hard time at work. I would say, since you said the person has the MD's ear, see how best you can, if possible, you can speak to the person. Look for the best time outside work, during work, weekend, outside official hour, outside the office environment, to speak to the person. You already know how the person is, so you know how to introduce the topic and speak to the person on how his approach or attitude is affecting every other person. You know how best to present it, know how, you know what might trigger him to go out against you. Then if you can't speak to him and you feel that whichever way you come is going to be a problem, maybe you look at holistically looking at the management team and maybe making it a business concern to deploy leadership training for all the heads of departments. And then you now present it to the MD. That is if you're the head of HR, and present it to the MD as a business business intervention that the management team needs to have leadership training. That way you address his issue without necessarily going to him, avoid that one-on-one personal, quote unquote, confrontation that might cause you issues. You know your environment more than we all do. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Oluchi, for your contribution. Waliu, you have the floor, please. Waliu, you have the floor. Okay, if Waliu is not there, I think Irene may want to respond to some of the remarks so far and the question on the chat.
Okay, so far, Z and Anna have spoken fantastically well. That support system is very important. I missed that when I was talking about if the workplace does not encourage well-being. That's part of the things you can control. You can just find people that listen to you if you have to speak up. Don't bottle up things. Part of the problem people have, and part of the things that lead to depression fast, is because people bottle up things. They want to talk to people, but they don't even know who to talk to. So you have support system, whether your workplace creates well-being at work or not, is very important. There should be people you can be vulnerable with. Not that every time you're feeling like a superman or a superwoman and Meanwhile, inside, you're killing yourself. So that is very important. That is very, very, very important. While you in the comment section did ask what are the drivers of employee well-being, like I said, the drivers of employee well-being are, I was typing that, so there's no, let me just say it now. I don't know if Wali is here. The drivers are basically what will enable workplace well-being, which are summarized in the PAMA model: positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and achievement. When you have positive emotion, you're happy to go to work. When you wake up in the morning, nothing is discouraging you from going to work. So your workplace has achieved well-being. Then, of course, from positive emotions, you're happy to do what you're doing. You are engaged at work. It's not that you come to work and you're just counting time and you're waiting for closing hour to reach, and that also begins to encourage teamwork. You have a healthy relationship with your colleagues, and your work is beginning to make meaning. Then basically you feel accomplished at what you do. So those are the drivers of employee well-being. I don't know if Wali is still here. If you're here, I hope I've answered your question. So thank you so far for everybody that has contributed. I have learned one or two. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Irene Obagu, for that insightful session as always. If we do not have any further contributions, comments, questions, I think it's a convenient time to call it a night. We'll meet again tomorrow by 7 p.m. for another exciting edition on this same channel. Please, if you like to watch this again or watch any of the over 90 sessions we've done so far, just look for Oluyemi Adeosun on YouTube and you will go straight to the channel and you can avail yourself. If you also like to facilitate something, reach out to me. I'm just a call away. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Thank you, everybody.